Hi, it's Pam here from Salon Savvy and welcome back to our live chat. Today I am going to talk a little bit about how to increase your client spend. If you have any kind of knowledge about how to grow your business, there's a few different things, must-do things that will help you increase your profitability and of course stay in business. And one of those things is increasing the amount of money each of your clients spends when they visit your salon. And this is a very important thing because if you can't get more new clients into your salon or spa, the next best thing you can do is increase how much each of those clients will spend with you. So at the end of the day, the sums will all work out and you'll have more money in the bank. So I've broken up the topics into getting more spend for your services and getting more spend for your retail. Let's get stuck into it. I've got some notes here. I did come prepared today, so if you see me looking down, it's because I'm just double checking that I've got my notes all sorted out and I haven't missed anything with you. So let's start talking about services first. So I've come up with 3 different strategies you can use to increase the service spend for your clients. Okay, the first thing is to try and get your clients to book in for past treatments that they've had when they've been in your salon. And this is pretty easily done because when you're talking to your client on the phone or if they're standing in front of you, if you're computerized, it literally takes a couple of seconds to tap into that client's history and to have a quick scan back and to see what she's purchased in the past that she'll be due for again at her next visit. So this is really valuable information tucked away in there, and it's ready for you to access that information so you can make good suggestions to your clients about what they might like to have. Now, when I was in my salon, I found that this was really quite invaluable to do because many clients would book in and basically ring up and say, "Oh, Pam, I need to book in for a half leg wax." Fantastic. If I hadn't gone in and looked at their past history, I wouldn't have seen that they usually have a bikini wax, an underarm and a brow shape at the same time. They tend to think that you're a mind reader and that that you'll remember everything about what they like to have when they're in the salon. So it's really important that you've accessed this information so that you can just confirm with them, say, "Oh, look, that's fantastic, Deidre. Will you be having your bikini, your underarm and your brow shape as well at this visit?" So one, it ensures that you are looking after the client, making sure that she's actually getting the services that she's going to want to have when she arrives. And 2, that you're allowing enough time. This is really important because you've got only so much time in a salon. When you're selling beauty services, you're actually just selling your time. And so, if you're keeping your bookings fairly tight, which I would recommend that you do, and you haven't booked in sufficient services for the client, she's going to come in, you've allowed 20 minutes for a half leg wax, and you're not going to be able to fit in the other services. That's going to do 2 things. 1, it's going to rob you of money, of revenue in your business, and 2, more than likely, it's going to cost you a client eventually because she needs those services done, she wants those services done, she expected them to get them done with you, and if she can't, she's going to go somewhere else that can fit her in. So it's really important to get into the habit of accessing the client's history as she's making an appointment so that you can ensure that past services that she's had top of mind with you, so you can kind of encourage her. It might not be something that she has regularly. You might look back and see that she had a lash tint 3 visits ago and hasn't had another one since. So that's a great time for you to say, "Oh, Deidre, did you want to have a lash tint with that half leg wax today as well? I see you haven't had one since blah blah." They might say, "Oh no, thanks, I don't really want that," but at the same time, they might absolutely go, oh, thank you so much for reminding of me to have that, because I've completely forgotten about that and I loved having it done last time. So you've got to be there to keep them kind of reminded about these things. Now, the second thing I'm going to suggest also at the time of making the appointment is that you suggest suitable extras to the clients, things that the client may not have experienced before but would really complement the services they've booked in for. For instance, if a client books in for a lash tint, I can think of a couple of things straight off the top of my head that would complement that, and that would be a brow tint, it might be a brow shape, it might even be lash extensions. And these are things that you've got to bring to your client's attention, because she's not a mind reader, as I said earlier, and she doesn't always realise that you offer these services, or that it's something that she might even be interested in. She's not always aware. So it's your job to put these complementing services in front of her in a nice light manner. I'm not talking about being super salesy, and no one likes that. But oh, look, by the way, have you thought of trying a brow tint with that? I think it would really, finish off that whole treatment and bring your eyes out. So you've got to be a little bit salesman-like, without being too pushy, and then it's up to the client whether she wants to say yes or no. All you have to do is come up with the ideas, and I'll bet you that there is nothing in your salon that the client books in for that you couldn't offer her a complementing service with it, whether it's some gel toes with a pedicure, whether it's an LED light treatment with her facial, or a mini micro with her facial, a scrub with her body massage, half-hour back massage with her facial. Look, honestly, my mind is whirling. I've got so many ideas in here, but just as well as I do that there's, so many combinations of services that would complement all your other services. So, try and put these things in front of your clients just to make her aware that they're available. I mean, you may even want to introduce her to that particular service. Say, look, I noticed you haven't had a body massage or a back massage with your treatment before. Because it would be your first service, I'll do that for you at a special price as a welcome to this new service type of thing. So keep in mind always the ways that you can put new services in front of your clients so that they can, feel it and they go, oh, that was so fabulous. I just loved that back massage. If they've never had massages in your salon before and it's an area you want to promote, and you can put that in front of them, and if they fall in love with that service and how it makes them feel, chances are they're going to continue on with that service down the track. So number 3 in how to increase your client spend is to actually look at ways that you can offer a more advanced service to your client when she's booking in for another service. One thing I've noticed with a lot of salon owners is when they get a client ringing up and saying, oh, I'd like to book in for a facial, something kicks into the salon owner's brain and they go, oh, I better offer them my cheapest facial. Very rare do I see a salon owner start with their top-end facial when they're introducing clients to that segment of their services. So if you've had a client who's been coming in and having the bottom of the range treatment, then why not think about starting to offer them a more advanced treatment in its place? If your client always has the $85 facial, why not try and get the $100 facial introduced to her instead? If she always has a half leg wax, why not think about introducing her to an IPL treatment? Just think about it. And these topics are fantastic to run brainstorming sessions around with your team, because they're going to get enthusiastic about this. There's going to be some great ideas flow, especially if the team is on some kind of a bonus structure, because that gives them the what's in it for me factor as well. So they're the 3 service related ways of increasing the client spend. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about the retail service, the retail side of things. Well, first of all, did you know that for the same amount of time invested, that conservatively retail brings in 2 to 3 times more profit than doing services. And now that's conservative. In many cases, it's even more. So when you think about the money that's just sitting there waiting to be made from retail sales, then you would be crazy not to really focus on how you can sell more retail to your clients. So firstly, I'm going to talk a little bit about the time. When's the best time to introduce an additional product to a client? Well, research has shown the best time is straight after they've bought another product. So if a client has bought a cleanser, that is the perfect time to ask her, does she need the moisturiser, does she need the mask, does she need the serum, and all of those other products that would be very synergistic with the product that she's already purchased. I tell you who's fantastic at doing this? Amazon. Have you ever been into Amazon to buy a book? And once you've bought that book, they'll always come up with a little list of books underneath other books that people who bought this have also purchased. And it kind of piques your interest, like, oh, let's have a little look through. And it doesn't always result in a sale, but many times it does actually turn a 1-book sale into a 2-book sale. And imagine if you could turn every single retail sale into a double retail sale. Wow, you'd immediately double your revenue from retail sales, and because there's such a high profit margin, that would make a big impact on your business. So that's the time to offer an additional retail product. Sometimes salon owners and therapists are a bit thingy about clients and their money. It's like anybody would think that the therapist was paying for the retail product. You've got to kind of get past that. It's up to the client to decide whether she can afford a product, 2 products, 3 products, or a whole range of products. That's completely her decision. And the only thing you've got to do and that you're responsible for is introducing her to the products that are going to get her the great results that she's looking for. And if she doesn't get those products from you, chances are she's going to go somewhere else down the road to the local chemist or even the supermarket and look for something that's going to help her with her skincare needs. So, break down that barrier in your own mind about what your client can afford. Remember that that's not your decision to make, and free yourself up when it comes to feeling good about offering her that second product after she's decided to make the purchase of her first product. Now, the next strategy that I'm going to talk about is selling the first product. I suppose I should have said that before I talked about selling the additional product. But selling the first product, a lot of people have difficulty breaking through to sell that first product to their client. How do you sell it? How do you make sure that the client's not going to, reject you outright and all the rest of it? Well, you've got to be a good communicator. You've got to be constantly talking to your client and finding out about why she's there having the treatment that she's having. She might, whether it be pedicures, waxing, facials, massage, there's a reason why your client has chosen to have that service with you. Is it to get great results? Is it for relaxation purposes? Now, if you're a savvy retailer, you should have considered most of these things and have appropriate products in your retail stock that you can offer to your client. Relaxation oils that they can use at home, or particular skin serums or treatment masks that are going to address the problem. But first of all, you've got to find out what the client sees as her problem. Be careful not to make assumptions about what the client sees as her problem, because as a professional therapist, you're constantly looking at your client, assessing her and assessing her needs, and writing up little prescriptions in your own head about what you think the client wants. But sometimes what seems to be the most important thing to you as a professional isn't always the most important thing to the client. And case in point, when I had my last salon, I made the biggest faux pas you can imagine. And I had a new lady walk into my salon. I happened to be on the front desk at the time. And she said, "I'd like to make an appointment." Well, this lady had an enormous walrus moustache. It was probably the worst I've ever seen on a woman. And I made the assumption that she wanted to make a booking to have her lip waxed. And, I actually said, yes, we can fit you in for a lip wax, because I was focusing on what I thought was going to be important to the client in my mind. And she was horrified, because she said, "Oh no, I just want a lash tint." So, lesson learned. She booked in and she had the lash tint, and honestly, she turned into a really good client. She did eventually have that lip wax, but it was only because she needed to feel more comfortable with me before she discussed that topic, which was a bit sensitive to her. And honestly, I felt so foolish, but I'd made an assumption. So never assume that you know what's important to your clients. She might come into your salon with many different skin concerns, and she might have pigmentation, she might have thickening of the skin, she might have deep wrinkles, she might have a lot of blackheads on her nose or T-zone, all of these things. But you don't know which one of those things. You might think, those wrinkles, need to do something about that, got to book her in for a peel. But in actual fact, her biggest issue may be with the pigmentation. That might be where she wants to start. So when you start trying to sell her products that treat the condition you think is most important, you're not going to get very far. So you've got to spend a little bit of time communicating with the client, asking good questions, finding out why she's there, finding out, what are you concerned about with your skin? What's really troubling you at the moment? And then when you know for a fact what the client is trying to achieve, then she's going to be so much more open and receptive to hearing out about the products that you've got that will help her treat that condition. If you start introducing her to a product and say, look, this particular mask is fantastic. If you use it twice a week, you're going to see a real reduction in your wrinkles. And she's going to be thinking, yeah, well, that's all very nice and good, but, I want something that's going to treat these horrible brown patches on my face. So, really asking good questions. Stop thinking about, the conversation you want to have with the client. Start thinking about the conversation you should be having with the client, focusing on her needs and wants. When you understand her needs and wants, retailing becomes so much easier. And finally, the third way to increase your client spend with retail sales is that wonderful little impulse purchasing display. And honestly, those little things that you have right at your point of sale, those little units with the little tester pump and everything like that, they can really boost retail sales. They've got to be the right products, they've got to be at the right price point, and they've got to be marked with the price. So important. Client might look at a lovely hand cream that's, their lovely unit, everything like that, but she doesn't know whether that hand cream is $10, $20 or $50. And, a $50 item is way too expensive price point for impulse purchase display. So make sure you've got your price point. Try and keep it under 20. I would say 20, 25 at the max, depending on the price point in your salon. But there are so many fantastic little things that you can put on your counter that your clients are going to be interested in purchasing from you as they're about to walk out the door. So, talk to your suppliers, people that you buy all your bits and pieces from. These are often a great place to find little extras, whether it's hand creams, whether it's cleansing sponges or candles or diffuser reeds or, let me think, so many different things, things that will, pique the client's interest, and she'll go, oh yeah, that looks good. Oh, is that all it cost? Yeah, I'll take one of those. So if you can boost your retail sales with these impulse purchases, all those little sales, they really add up at the end of the week. Even if you sell one $20 item a day, 5 days a week, you've got $100 more in your kick at the end of the week. 50 weeks in the year. Well, you do the sums, 50 times 100, and I tell you what, that pays for a nice holiday. So it's well worthwhile looking at your impulse displays, keeping them fresh, turning them over so that when your clients come in, you know, if they bought something from your last display, have something fresh there, because chances are she might buy something else if it's a new display. So that's my 6 tips on how to increase your client spend. And just think about it, an extra $20 from each of your clients. I can't do the sums for you because I don't know how big your business is, but I want you to get a calculator out. I want you to work out how many clients you see a week and work out how much an extra $20 would be worth to your business for that week, and then of course for the year. And I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised, and will give you the incentive. So think about what I've said. Put together a great team meeting, get your team all excited about ways that we can do this. Come up with some ways to incentivize these things for your team. It doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg, but make it fun so that the team want to participate, and get those dollars coming in and enjoying your salon even more, because you know you're making some decent profits. That's it for today, guys. So I hope you've really enjoyed this. If you've missed my previous videos, I've set them all up on my channel at YouTube, so you can go into YouTube and look for Salon Savvy Coaching, and my previous 7 videos will be there waiting for you, and I'll be adding this one to the list as well. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and it's bye for now, and I'll be out boating next week, and if possible I will be still broadcasting, but if not, I'll see you the week after. Bye.